Phoebe
Hey.
is a New York Times best-selling author. She has a couple books, but the first one, let's go to the first one, because it kind of fits our theme a little bit today. It was called, I believe it was called "You Can't Touch My Hair and Other Things I Still Have to Explain."
Mm.
Um, yeah, there's a title, and I wanted to talk to you about I guess, the inspiration behind writing that book, and also what it is. If the book is the answer to a question, what's the question? Actually, that's a dumb question because that's the title of the book. The title of the book is
No.
the answer. No, you can't touch my hair. That's actually the answer to the question. So talk about the book. How about that? Let me just make it simple and try not to Elvis
Yeah.
Mitchell it.
So, I love Elvis Mitchell.
I
Yawns.
know.
Okay, so 2014, I believe. Yeah. So I used to have my Blaria blog, and I think I was just on some random like New York comics who are like up and coming. You know those lists where they put you on like for like the first 15 years of your career. You're always like, yeah, I've been up and coming forever.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm
I've
still
been
up and
up and
coming.
coming. Yeah. I've been up and coming for 6.5 years. And my lit agent just sent me an email. And he was like, you're probably already working on a book. His name is Robert Ginsler. Um, but he was like, if you're not, I think there's a book to be had. I think you're really funny and it could be really cool. So we sat down and I think I always secretly wanted to write a book, but I just wrote these, very short 500-word blog posts, maybe 1,000-word blog posts. Like I had no idea really how to go about writing a book or an essay collection, other than I like to read them. And so I just am a title person. That's like the first thing I always come up with. And I just felt like throughout my life at that point, people had always like tried to touch my hair. And it was really, and I know I changed my hair a lot. So sometimes people can get very excited.
Oh, I
Um,
remember. I would be around you. We'd be at a show, and you'd come out. It'd be like we do a show on Tuesday, then we do a show on Thursday, and somebody who was at both those, you have changed your hair, and you would
yeah.
walk in, and then somebody would freak out, just like, "What? You did it?" I'm like, "Can you calm down?" Like it was always like that.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny if we just call it You Can't Touch My Hair." And then I could do like a fun essay collection about, so I really sort of talked about like me sort of coming from this place of where I used to hate my hair because I used to
Mm,
perm it.
mm-hmm.
And of course, when you fry your hair, it's not going to be perfectly straight like a Jennifer Aniston or what have you. So I really had like all these feelings and emotions about my hair and how I got on this sort of like journey to really love my hair and feel positive about it and see it as like a symbol of pride and like that it is professional, that I can wear it anywhere, that I'm not this like edgy person for having my hair natural. Like that's just, how my hair grows out of my head. Um, and so writing that essay collection, that came out in 2016. So I wrote it in 2015. So yeah, when I was like about to turn 30. So it was just very sort of like you're so like now that I'm about to turn 36, I'm like, oh my God, 30 is so young. Like, I'm like you're such a baby at 30 still, you don't even realize. But it was just sort of like me being like, okay, I can take up space and write a book. Cause I think what
Mm,
happens a lot of times with authors of color, in particular Black authors, like you compare yourself to the canon, right? So you're like,
Right.
well, my book isn't like this urgent James Baldwin or Toni Morrison, so does it not have the space to exist? But then it's
mm.
like, well, I just want to tell funny stories and make social commentary, and I could just be like a Black Davis Sedaris or what have you. You know what I mean? Like I could just be funny and I don't know, write to readers like they're my best friend, and that's just
Mm.
as valuable as writing like the next great Black American novel, whatever that means.
That's such an
See,
important. I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's such an important point to me, because I feel like that what you just brought up about taking up space is something, especially if you're the kind of creator that doesn't have large corporate backing and you're not pushed by a
Mm.
giant team of people. Like that's something you have to deal with all the time. It's like the self-talk to take up space. I'm wondering if there's any advice you'd have for people who are kind of on that precipice where they do feel like they have something to offer, but they have an internal doubt about taking up space.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things I think I still battle with from time to time where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can say this in a meeting, or oh, I don't know if I can own this, or oh, I don't know if I can ask for negotiate for the pay that I think I deserve. And so I'm sort of the mind that you're always going to sort of have those thoughts. It's not about eliminating them, it's about being able to be like, you can overpower them, right?
Mm.
And so I think, especially if you're going to be in an artistic arena or what have you, I think just like taking the time to sort of do stuff not necessary to advance your career, but to just develop the skill set. Like me starting Blaria was not because I wanted to become a New York Times bestselling author. I was just like, well, I have this outlet. I like to write, and maybe I could develop my voice this way if I'm just writing a blog that, I don't know, maybe 200 people read at maximum. And I think that really helped me just sort of take the pressure off and just be like, if I want to say I'm a writer, I just need to claim it by just writing 3 blog posts a week. And that's what I did. It's like I set a schedule and I would be at work finishing my blog post when I was supposed to be like, booking my boss's like travel. And so I just was sort of like, if I could just get up every week and put this blog out there, that is me taking up space, and it's okay. And if someone hates it, it's fine. If someone thinks it's great, that's also fine. It's just an act of me doing it. So whether it's like you want to play music or you want to sculpt or you want to like fashion design, just do it, because you
Mm-hmm.
never know where it's going to take you. And I think that's the thing that people forget, because everything is so commodified.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not always necessarily creating from a place of pleasure, but a place of how can I turn this into profit?
Right.
And so I think it's easier to take up space if you're trying to do it for pleasure first.
Awesome.
I don't know if that
Fantastic
makes
advice.
sense.
No, it makes perfect
Oh,
sense.